With hand on heart, we pledge ourselves to Hereford Football Club. We will live, breathe, eat and sweat football. Like our fathers before us, we will march onward, filled with pride, courage and Edgar Street soup. Whether in the Len Weston or the Meadow End, our cries will be heard. Our better halves will complain, our sofas will groan, and the Bulls may not win. But we shall stand tall like beacons of hope, there for the lads. Watching and waiting, we will rise again. It's great to be here. Every Bulls game, live, right here on Radio Hereford FC. Hereford Football Club, we know how you feel about it, because we feel the same.
Hello and welcome to We're Going Down the Pub with me, Frank Williams from Radio Hereford FC, and I have a friend of mine here with me, Mr. Simon Wright.
Good afternoon.
Who looks after the ground guides that we do for our radio station for our fans who are visiting away clubs in the Evo Stick South and West, Division 1
Indeed.
South and West this season. But we thought it'd be rather nice to put a ground guide of our own down to what visiting supporters can expect at Edgar Street, the home of the mighty Bulls. Now,
Bring it on.
yeah,
We want to encourage and enlighten, I suppose, without being patronised, visiting supporters about the joys of visiting Edgar Street, because, you know, I would imagine most clubs have not ever been to Edgar Street before in all their hundreds of years that they've been in existence.
now before anybody goes and rushes for a pen, there's an article on visiting Edgar Street on the pull-down menu of Bulls News blog site. Fairly easy to find, that is, if you go to the main Hereford FC site, you'll find a link to the Bulls News blog, and it covers most of these themes. Most internet football ground guides also still feature our stadium.
Yeah, in broad terms they do, but the dates, they are 4 or 5 years out of date, so the prices will have changed. But let me tell you a little bit about our club, Hereford FC. We're now in our second season of operation, and to a degree, we're still learning as we go along. We haven't got everything right yet, but we're trying, we really are trying. Well, some of our supporters say we're really trying, but there you go. It's 50% owned by local businessmen who made donations and bring their commercial skills, and 50% by our supporters trust. So, you know, we're quite proud that we have an input into our club.
Now, the club is largely run by volunteers, though we do have a tiny number of paid staff. They all work silly hours, far beyond what they're paid, and contrary to belief, our manager and our team are all part-timers, and none of them are on big money.
Absolutely right.
And you and me particularly are on no money at all.
No.
None at all.
We're amongst the ranks of eager volunteers.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the ground.
Absolutely,
Simon.
bring it on.
We've got. We only actually rent 3 sides of Edgar Street on a short-term lease from the council, but this hopefully
That will
is
change,
going to
hopefully.
change in the near future. The one end terrace is based on crumbling railway sleepers, so it's not safe to use, and it's not part of what we lease
No.
off the council at the moment.
Okay, let me tell you a bit about the sides that we do have. The main stand, that's the one that faces into the car park, and that's basically where everything happens. It's where you find the ticket office, the bars, the dressing rooms. It's a popular stand, and it's largely sold out to season ticket holders, of which we have, I think, in excess of 1,700 now. Behind the goal, we have what we think is the famous Meadow End. It's, frankly, an elderly covered terrace. It's barely changed the days of Ronnie Radford. Obviously, you can dig that footage out if you wish. And that's where our vocal support comes from. I mean, we have quiet days like every club, but when the Meadow End is going full blast, you know, it spreads the other 2 stands, and you know this is one proper football ground.
Yeah, that's right. And now down the other touchline and facing the main road, is the Len Weston stand, which offers seats over a terrace. Now, I remember when the dual carriageway was built, Edgar Street
show
itself.
your age here, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And they knocked the old stand down. It's a really narrow stand.
Very, yeah.
It's tall and narrow. Actually, when you see it on the A49, you think, how does that stand up?
Yeah.
The top half of it is seating.
A lot of pillars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bottom half of it is terrace. And I'm sorry, away supporters, it's in the far end of that you are most likely to be housed. Now, I know in Evo Stick Southern League Division 1 anyway, there isn't a segregation policy.
No.
But because of the size of the ground, its capacity and number of supporters, we have to have segregation.
No.
We do not segregate the bars. We do, however, have to segregate the seating.
And it's
in the
pragmatic as well, because we don't have 30 or 40 spare seats anywhere
That's
else,
right.
to be honest. So
Now for historical reasons, as I said, the stand is tall and narrow, and it's got a lot of pillars obstructing the terrace below. One half of the seats are generally reserved for visitors. You do have a panoramic view of the action, maybe the best view in the division, I would think. This is a sort of voluntary segregation purely because there is nowhere else
we can put you all.
that we can put you now. That's right. You will need to buy tickets beforehand, and we'll come on to that shortly.
Indeed.
There is no turnstile that you can pay at.
Not for away
you
supporters,
have to
no.
get your tickets from the ticket office, but we'll explain that in a little bit. In fact, Simon, you might as well explain
Go
about
on, if
ticketing
you
now.
insist. Okay, well, let me first mention the prices. Seats for adults are £9, terracing is £8. Concessions basically knock £1 off, which it's not that generous, to be honest, but we're better for kids. Under 18s are £2 and under 5s are free, but you still need a ticket. Now, quick warning here, Len Weston stand steps are steep. I mean, I went up there only last week, the first time in years, thought, my word, these are steep. So if you've got limited mobility, you are going to struggle. So we do have a disabled enclosure for what we call our disables. That's the name they like to be known as. It's covered, it's a pitch level, and it recently expanded. But it is a very popular enclosure, so if you want to get in there, ring the club in advance.
You have to ring the club in advance and book a place if you want a space in there.
But anyway, the key point for visitors with admission is you must buy your seat ticket in advance from the ticket office porter cabin.
Now, that doesn't mean to say that you have to ring the club or email the club in advance. You can buy them on the day, but they have to be pre-bought at the ticket office, which actually works. A system that works very, very well. They follow the signs for it.
The signs all around.
It's outside one of our two bars called Radford's, which we'll talk about again
absolutely
later.
we will.
Yeah. But queues can build up, so be early and buy your tickets before going in the bar.
That's always the best policy. You don't want to be stuck in the queue, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I mean, it takes away the need for dozens of floats to be made up for each game, and takes away concerns about volunteers being in charge of large sums of money. So, that's it. But before we look at the bars and refreshments and so on, we better look at parking because it's not as good as it used to be.
No, it ain't. I mean, if you look on the old internet websites and it says, parking is £1. Oh, I wish it was these days.
It's a fiver.
It is, yeah. I mean, Edgar Street is part of the town centre, which is plus points and minus points, and we have a council which is frankly hard up. They're extracting every penny they can from us. Parking, as you said, at the Meadow End car park, which is two sides of the ground, it's £5. It's flat rate during the day. It's better if for a night game. Obviously, not some people can make it for night games. It's £1.50 after 6 o'clock. So that's.
But that car park is now severely.
It's truncated.
Yes, because half of it is now disappeared. They've now actually cordoned it off because they're building a new extension of the trunk road, going at the bottom end of that, and eventually the whole car park is going to go.
I shall miss it terribly. I've been parking on there for 40 years.
Is that all?
No, I know, youngster.
Some of us have been parking on it for 50 years, but it's really...
with the wind-up cars, but okay. Across the road...
Look, in those days, all cars were black, and every broadcast was black and white.
Oh, what a thought. So, exactly, okay.
But we still wear black and white, that's
we do, very traditional at our club. But anyway, across the road, there's even more car parking at the new retail centre, the Old Market Shopping Centre, as it's called. Now, sadly, that's even more expensive. There's an hourly sliding scale. But you can, if you shop or have a meal there, then you might get cheaper parking depending on how much you spend, but it's complicated.
Do Waitrose give a...
Waitrose, if you spend 20 quid in Waitrose, you get the first 2 hours of parking free. So
Great.
if you have a meal for the same price in places like Wagamama, that's also first 2 hours free. So it's expensive, but there are 4 or 5 car parks around the ground, but they all charge. Now, I mean, if you want free side street parking, as frankly a lot of us do, you're going to have to walk. Frankly, you're looking at least half a mile walk to an area where you can get free car parking, and of course you are competing with the home supporters also looking for the same thing. Best suggestion I have really for you is look at Westfields FC. And our nearest football club, and there's some street parking around there.
They're only 500 yards from us, actually.
Yeah, they are.
And nobody goes to watch them.
No.
So we shouldn't say things like that, because Westfields are doing very well
They
this
are.
season,
well, it's all the ex-Hereford players have got in their ranks to make the difference. But there you go. So that's your best bet. But you're going to be lucky with that one.
Yeah. Now I'll look at the train.
Oh, yes.
Now look, we find it difficult to get to you by train, so you're going to find it even worse to get to us. Yeah. I mean, basically, Hereford is situated at the end of a 50-mile long cul-de-sac, and
that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, and as you'll discover, it's long-winded and hard work to get to Hereford by train, unless you're coming from Newport or Birmingham. And of course, it's just as hard to get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So don't even think about a night game.
Hopeless. You can get in, but you can't get out.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Hotel California, I think.
How if you do manage to get out
if you
by
can
train,
do it on a Saturday,
it's only an 8-minute walk.
It is.
If you nip through the cemetery on Commercial Road.
Yeah.
As a youth, I did many times, because the bus station is next to the railway station.
Yeah.
I used to nip through the cemetery.
Oh, good fun. Good fun.
Lots of things used to happen in that cemetery.
We best not go there, But
lots of pubs in the street in Commercial Road, including the local Wetherspoons.
That's the King's Fee, is it?
Oh yes,
I think it's the King's Fee. Yeah.
I had a meal in there with our guru of the radio station, Mr. Keith Hall, who, if you listen to any of our radio broadcasts,
you want me to get away from him.
Yeah. And he paid.
No.
Yes.
Was he feeling unwell?
I think he was.
Anyway,
he had me with him, so he was feeling rather.
Anyway, but before we promote the local bars, we ought to be thinking our own. Exactly. Let's go for it. Okay. Yeah, and really, firstly, an apology to visitors. You're probably used to being able to have a drink right through the ground. We can't do it at Edgar Street for probably all sorts of reasons. Access problems, frankly, is one of our worst problem. But sadly, no drinking during the game. But before and after the game, please come in our bars. We've got 2. We have Addison's and Radford's both beyond into the main stand.
Yeah, and there's no membership, no bouncers.
No, come on in, please. Yeah. We want away supporters to come and join us.
Local real ales and proper cider at 3p a pint.
3p?
£3. Well, it wouldn't be. I'm sorry, I'm still going 50 years ago now. £3 a pint.
Yeah.
It's plastic glasses and food is limited to coppers. But I have to say, the 2 bars are subtly different. Radford's is what I would call the public bar, and Addison's is what I would call the lounge bar.
Yes, it is.
The nice thing about Addison's is that before the game you have pitch side access.
Yes.
It's almost like an outside drinking area. It's still no smoking.
Yeah.
It's inside the stadium.
But it feels great.
But it does feel great.
I could spend hours there.
Yeah,
really good.
Absolutely, it's lovely. You can sit outside next to the ground, which is looking absolutely spectacular. And of course, it's an old, iconic football stadium.
And there aren't many of them left, so come and join us. Come and admire it,
Yeah. But whereas Radford's is very much more the public bar, isn't it?
It is.
But the prices aren't any different, I'm afraid.
Good toilets. Very good toilets.
There's good toilets everywhere. No, there's toilets everywhere.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Hereford is very central to the town centre, and the joy of being so central is the fact there's dozens and dozens of pubs and cafes within half a mile walk.
And even closer, a few hundred yards if you're going the new centre by Waitrose Mail Centre. The old market. It's all street cafes and bistros and whatever, and it's really lovely on a Saturday afternoon when it's deserted because everybody's at the match.
Yeah. There's probably a case to produce a separate guide for the town itself, but let me just throw in a few names for now. I mean, there's the Bird in Hand, which is a microbrewery.
Yep.
I've not been there myself, but everybody gets excited about it. The Oxford Arms, which is the back of the car park. That's got a nice beer garden, nice beer. The Victory and the Barrels and the Lichfield Vaults, they're all camera hubs.
In the Lichfield Vaults, along with another pub but slightly further away from there, the Bunch of Grapes, you do not stay in after 7:30 at night.
Why is that, Frank?
Because they're SAS pubs.
Are they really?
Yes, the Vaults
Who
and the
knew
Bunch
it?
of Grapes are, but it's near the cathedral, are the ones that the SAS frequent. Not that they're not very, very nice blokes.
No.
They are, but maybe,
Best
after
to
a football match,
best to leave them alone.
Best to
Okay,
leave them
okay.
alone, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
And they are trained killers after all.
Well, exactly, yes. We had them as stewards once, but that's another story.
Yes, they were.
Yes,
We've
they
actually
were.
had one of them as a player for us. But
Oh, yes, that's a
Phil
another
Stant.
story. Phil Stant,
Phil
yeah.
Stant with SAS. We bought him out of the army,
Yeah.
actually, to play.
Well, but we couldn't do it now, but,
it's not so bad now,
No.
because the SAS has moved out of the city to a camp outside, and mainly for security reasons, because they thought that it would make Hereford a bit of a target for... but you wouldn't argue with the SAS anyway.
Well,
only once.
But they don't move around the town with SAS stamped on their forehead. Obviously, they all wear uniforms. But
the £52 Bergen pack on the back gives them away. But
but in general terms, Hereford is it's a real ale mecca. It's a real food mecca, and frankly, we're proud of it as a really good place to visit. So we will try and get round to this separate guide to the town. We do our bit for the local tourism.
Right. 3 quick points
Yep.
to finish with then.
Okay.
All right. We believe our programme is pretty damn good for its type. 64-page, full-colour effort for £3. Several contributors helped to put it together, including Mr. Simon Wright here, who
I
does.
don't like to boast, but
He does the ground guide. He does the guides for you people on your club. So if you've got any problems with what the programme says about you, here is the man. Yeah, for the right sort of fee, I will lace his drinks for you. But,
my word. Okay.
But
You
it
do
does-
not know how many hours I put on sweating over, put some of the coherent together on the
the most
visiting teams.
in-depth features on the visiting sides in the division. Now, that's the first point. The
Yeah,
second point is
second
the
point.
fanzine.
We've got a fanzine. Not many of us have. Comes out 4 times a year. It's professionally produced. It's a less regimented view of our club.
And it's called
Talking Ball. Did I not mention it's
No,
Talking?
you didn't.
Oh, I hope the sun's out. Back numbers are available from the club shop for this season and last season. It's very much worth a read. But okay. And finally,
If you can't make the game, exactly. If you can't make the game, then tune in to Radio Hereford FC. You can get, if you go to the club website, which is herefordfc.co.uk, and follow the links to media and little link say Radio Hereford FC, you'll find a player on that. And in the bottom right hand corner of the player, it's a little pop out, and you can stay on your desktop all day long while you're doing other things, and you can listen to the game. You can also listen to it on your smartphone by downloading the TuneIn radio app, because we're not available on the normal AM, FM and digital broadcasting. We're only internet based. If you download the TuneIn app and search for Radio Gap Hereford Gap FC on that, and you can listen to our commentaries. Normally we're on air half an hour before kick-off every game, but you can tune in any time, because we have 24/7 music broadcasting of the type of music we know you like.
Wow. And if you're wondering why Frank sounds so knowledgeable, because he is the man who puts all the technology into our internet
Well, I
radio
wouldn't say
station.
all the technology,
Well,
but I
most
put
of it.
a lot of it in.
You couldn't do it without you.
And we average over 1,000 listeners per game,
That
which
is
is really,
impressive.
really good. I mean, we
Worldwide.
have peaked at 1,500-1,600 at times.
You've yet to peak, though, haven't you?
No,
As a radio station, you've yet to peak. You haven't
At
yet
the
to peak
station,
yet.
no, a number of listeners. We've gone over our broadband bandwidth limit a couple
Yeah.
of times. Salisbury last year in the.
Oh,
we went
gosh,
over.
what a day, what a day.
We even had 800 listeners, I think, when we were at Wembley, and there were 20,000 Hereford supporters at
Already
Wembley.
there.
We still had 800 listeners online, which
Fantastic.
was.
But, we are rambling now, aren't we? So let's sum it up, and let's, I hope you found this guide helpful.
And,
please come along, please.
We'd love to see you at
Edgar Street.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
If you want to find us, to give us a right pasting for what we've said about what we might have said about you in our away ground guides, which you will find on our YouTube channel. If you want to find out what we've said about you, gradually during the season these will come on. Our YouTube channel, we've stuck them on, and you'll find that at the Radio Hereford FC Facebook page. And if you go down to the YouTube link, you will find all our ground guides on you people, and you'll also find this one. And we hope you'll find it useful. And we'll see you at Edgar Street. I'm Frank Williams, and
Simon Wright. Hello.
And we'll probably be in Addison's, or usually Addison's.
Unless we're selling something.
Yeah, after the game, or in the radio commentary area, in the main Merton stand, block C. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please let us know. If you haven't, keep quiet about it, and we'll see you at Edgar Street.
Life, it can be difficult, and we know that. We all need someone to rely on, someone who's going to be there, someone who's going to make you feel like you belong, someone constant. It's ecstasy, it's anguish, joy, and despair. It's part of our history, and it'll be a part of our future. It's theatre, art, war, and love. It should be predictable, but never is. It's a feeling that can't be explained, and we spend our lives explaining it. It's our religion, and we don't apologize for it, nor deny it. They are our team, our family, our life. Hereford Football Club, we know how you feel about it, because we feel the same.